Hey everyone, it's Danny here from Angel Handmade Papercraft. Today I am working with Whimsy stamps. So we are now on week 2 of the new releases. So I hope you guys have seen a few of the design team versions of these stamps and hoping you're enjoying our new release. So I am working with the We Stamps Dreamy Dragon stamp. This is absolutely adorable. He is available in both a digital and a rubber release image. You can purchase both of those. So I have linked up both of them now, but the digital stamp is a new release. So it's pretty exciting when you're not able to hunt down that rubber stamp and you are then able to purchase it in a digital form. That's the best part about the digital sometimes, is that you can get them instantly as well. So it's fantastic. So I have got this image I have this image printed up on some Express It blending card, and I'm using my Copic markers to print him up. So I am just working my way through. I've laid down the lightest color first, and then I'm working my way back from darkest to lightest, doing quite a bit of blending with these V markers. They did take a little bit of work, but turned out exactly as I was hoping. So I'm very, very happy with them. So as you can see from the lids up in the top right hand corner there, I am using VO4, 6 and VO9. I do have all of those lids off because I am jumping in between them so much, and they are an absolute gorgeous tone to work with. So that's what I'm doing here, just using my zero color Splendor in a few places. Because I was laying down so much ink, it did bleed out a tiny bit every now and then, so I was able to push that color back in with the zero colorless blender. So this image did take quite a while to color up, so I've got it all nice and sped up for you. So I am using those V markers on the main section of the dragon, and then I'm jumping in with some of my BG markers. So I'm using BG 53, 57, and then BG 18. And in the end, I will also add some detail on using my white gel pen, just to give him a little bit more texture and things like that. So I'm quite happy with the way that he turned out. So just working my way through here. So that's the main section of the dragon. I will colour the tree stump in using some of my brown markers. So I did end up using... I actually didn't write that down. There you go. I must have been busy and not with it that day. Probably. I've been very sick the last few weeks, as you guys know. Still struggling to get myself better, but one day at a time, doing lots of resting and all that sort of stuff. So, okay, so it looks like I'm using E57 and E59 on this tree stump here. So I better add those on to my list while I am thinking about it, so that I can add those to the blog post. As I finish up with the tree stump, I then go into the flowers. So there's lots and lots of colours used on these flowers. I did want the dragon to be the main part of this image, so all of these colours are fantastic, and they don't take that you know, the eye appeal away from the dragon. So I'm loving the way that they did turn out. So colours used on the flowers, I've used some of my RV markers, some of my B markers, some of my Y markers, some BVs, and some of my yellow markers. So lots and lots of colours in here. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm just working my way through. Should be just about done with those, colouring in the last few. And then I will start working on the card. So for the papers on my card today, I have used some of the Craft Store mini stack papers. This is just a cheap paper pad from Kmart. Had some great colours in it that I really love, so I did pick up a couple of those. And I am also using some white cardstocks from American Crafts, and I did pull in some craft cardstock as well, which I think is from Franceville, but I will link up a few different versions of that. So if you don't have that company wherever you are from, you can purchase a different company craft cardstock. It's all much the same, really. And I am using a few dies. So I'm using the Mama Elephant Happy Everything stamp. Now, I did actually fussy cut the outside of that stamp. I didn't die cut it, so that was really cool. I did end up doing it on cardstock first, but I wasn't happy, so I went back and did it on vellum and then replaced the white cardstock one that I had done. I used the My Favorite Things Puffy Clouds dies, ran those through my Sizzix Big Shot, and also the My Favorite Things Birch Trees. So there's a few different companies' products on this card today, but the image is from Whimsy Stamps. I did run the image through my Big Shot using the Lawn Fawn Stitched Circles dies. So here I am just popping a few of those birch trees down. It felt like it needed a little bit of brown to bring that tree in, so that's where I jumped in and added some of those craft trees down as well. Now I'm just using some of my Tombow Mono Multi liquid adhesive for the trees and the clouds, just so that if I just needed to shimmy them slightly, I was still able to do that. So here I am just cutting off the excess of the bottom of the trees there. And here I am stamping out the image onto some white cardstock first, and like I said, I do replace that later on. I did use the same sentiment. I just carefully pulled that off the white cardstock. Trimming that down just using my Tim Holtz guillotine. So here I am in between fussy cutting that using my EK Success scissors. I had to be really careful because, as you can see, that sentiment is still wet. Alright, so I did go in using some Tombow Mono Multi on the back, just where all the ink sections were, and I've used my Silhouette Pick Me Up tool, just the reverse side of it, the pokey side, and carefully popped all of that down on my card. So I hope you've enjoyed my card today, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!